Hello and welcome to Two Shots of Espresso with Colby Burchin and Serena Appel. Hello, Colby.
Hello, Serena. How are you?
I am fantastic because today we are speaking to someone who brings grit, heart, and pure Southern fire. Gena Elliott grew up in Gaffney, South Carolina, and after losing her father, the legendary moonshiner and race car driver Stick Elliott, she found herself homeless at age 10. But that loss sparked a drive that never quit. She became the first in her family to earn a college degree, write for the New York Times, and ultimately followed her true passion, fiction. Her novel, Southern Stock, is her love letter to her father's wild, beautiful life. This is Gena Elliott, and this is exactly the kind of story that makes Two Shots of Espresso your weekly double shot of inspiration. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Serena, I'm really excited because dear friends of mine are very close with Gina, and they told me about the book. I was kind of like mesmerized by the book, and it really has such a great story. So this is like real heartfelt that she's on the show today.
Thank you for that introduction.
So tell everyone, why did you write this book?
So, my father passed when I was 5 years old, and I always kind of felt this void in my life, just a father figure, but also because I heard stories about him my entire life, from the old guys at the racetrack to just, I mean, everybody, about what a charismatic guy he was, what a badass he was. Can I say that? There were all these crazy stories about his moonshining days and his racing days and how he would get shot at and how he would win races driving backwards, and like this stuff sounds like it should be a movie or something. And so one day I just said, it was actually during COVID, I sat down and I said, I have to write all this stuff down. And it became this novel, which is fiction, but about 90% true.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's dive in. So, what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? Paint a picture for us.
Okay, so I grew up in Gaffney, South Carolina, which is a very small town in the foothills, about an hour south of Charlotte, near Spartanburg, South Carolina. And my father died when I was 5. As I said, he died from a very rare disease called cryptococcal meningitis, and it was a very sudden sort of death. My mother had never worked. She was not very well educated and was left with 3 girls, um, and didn't really know what to do. So we struggled a bit. We live off food stamps, the kindness of strangers in our local church. At the age of 10, we became homeless and lived out of a car for months and months at a time. We would bathe in the Burger King bathroom using those, like, remember those hard paper towels that you get in the fast food restaurant? We would do that while my mother guarded the door. We would, scavenge off of stranger scraps. It was a tough time, and that was until the car got repossessed, and then we had nowhere to go after that. Um, we were blessed to have friends around us that eventually kind of picked us up and helped us out. So while the childhood was rough, I would not trade it for anything in the world, because I think it gave me grit, and I think it gave me that resilience, like that just Southern grit that caused me to, want something better, to attain something better.
How did that childhood shape your adulthood?
When you're a child and you're embarrassed to go to school and use the free lunch, and when you're looking at your clothes and you're like, wow, I don't have remember the acid wash jeans and the splattered paint jeans back in the 80s and the 90s? Well, I was a kid too, and I wanted those, but we couldn't afford those. We were shopping at Goodwill, we were popping tags and all that stuff you're not supposed to say that you do, but we did it. And we would look down at our jeans and go, well, these are not the real jeans. These are just like, my mom had some random paint and she just threw it on there, and the splatters are not neon colors, they're brown. There was that embarrassment. So I think working through that and learning to say, hey, this is what I was. I am no longer embarrassed by that. I am resilient. I could go out, I could mow my own lawn, I could fix my own car. I can do all of these things that I didn't, we didn't have anybody to do it for us because we had to learn that. We had to learn that resilience, that the value of hard work, the value of a dollar, and to not ever take anything for granted.
Right. That's truly you were growing up pretty quickly in the real world, real world experiences, and doing it with your sisters and your mom too. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about what really, what the book is about and what you hope people take away from this book.
Okay, so the book, and I have a copy of it here. This is it, the cover.
Love the
I love
cover.
the cover.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I have a great team at Greenleaf, my publishing company. They did a great job on that. So the book is about my father. It starts in the 1950s. It starts with the beginnings, basically, of NASCAR. It starts with my father, who at the age of, I think it was 12 years old, started driving and entered his first race at the age of 14. He was a huge guy. He was like, 6'4", just this force. But he started running moonshine because his grandfather was making it. And he would run from the cops. And then he learned, he's like, wow, this is fun. And I'm really good at this driving thing. And I can make some money off of it. So he started entering like local dirt track races. So the book is really about that. It's about his legacy. It's my love letter to him. It's about a guy who really put all of his heart and soul into something that he loved, and at some point is blindsided by the love of his life, which was my mom. This kind of John Wayne cowboy sort of boy who could have any girl he wanted and never wanted to settle down, falls in love. So it's a love story, it's an action story, it's a gritty, raw, emotional Southern story.
That's so amazing. Have your sisters or mom read the book? And what is their take on it?
Good question. So my sisters have read the book. I have three sisters, and they loved it. My sister April actually called me. She's like, I'm not a big reader, but I read it in 3 days, and I'm in tears. And you're really going after Dad's legacy, and he deserves it. And thank you. And my sister Dawn called, text me. She actually texted me because she said, I can't call you right now. I'm crying too much. They really appreciate it. They've been supportive. They've been talking to everybody. You need to read this book. Unfortunately, my mom didn't get to read it. She passed in
Oh,
February,
So
and
sorry.
I may cry
Yeah.
here. Um, she knew I was writing the book, but she had
oh,
dementia.
Yeah.
So I think at the end, she knew it was there, but she didn't get to see the finished product. But I dedicated the book to her and to my father. And I talked about how he, dedicated to my father who lived life like a bat out of hell. And which is a thing that Southerners like to say, and something to the effect of, and to my mother who lived life in the slow lane with, charm and grace. I'm paraphrasing from
Oh,
memory, but yes, overall, my family has been super supportive.
beautiful. Just beautiful. Do you have other books?
Good question. I don't have any other published now, but I have three in the works, all based in the South, because that's
Good for
kind of that's
you.
kind of my thing. That's what I know. They say write what you know. That's what I know, the culture. So I have a ghost story that I'm working on right now. It's in the editing process. It's set in Charleston. I have a story that is really about my childhood, and it's kind of about generational trauma and how we can heal from that and kind of move on. It's a sadder sort of story. I'm working on that one too. And then the latest one I'm working on is about nature, but it is set in it's a little different. I don't even know how to describe this one, quite frankly, but it's going to be fun. Trust me, that one will be fun. And I also write poetry on the side. So I'm thinking about maybe a poetry book at some point.
beautiful. So what about that poetry? Is that inspired by your upbringing too?
A lot of it, but then some of the poetry actually veers off into, I mean, I write about everything from love to loneliness to fairies. I think my poetry is really runs the gamut and doesn't really still fit in it doesn't stay in that Southern culture box. Um, I see poetry as something, like when you write a novel, it takes a lot of planning, right? There are characters, there are timelines, there's research on the time period. There's all of the stuff that goes into it, and it's a long-term project. For me, poetry is a way to get my feelings out. Just like a song might be to one of you guys, right? If you're feeling sad, you want to listen to a certain song. If you're feeling happy, you want to listen to a different song. For me, it's poetry. So I pick up pen and pad and I go, this is how I'm feeling today. And it doesn't have to rhyme, and it doesn't have to be anything that anybody else even understands. It's just stream of consciousness.
I just had a question because you're showing up today. You're so beautiful. You're
Thank
radiating
you.
beautiful energy. And you've come through so much. How has that really been the runway for you to share? The other books that you're working on, do you believe that that will also inspire others that are dealing with childhood trauma to work through it?
I really hope so. And that's my goal, is to build a place where people can look at my stories and go, wow, that was me, or I wasn't the only one. Or maybe it's somebody that just doesn't doesn't get it at all, and they're on a completely different spectrum, and maybe they had a great childhood, and all of these things. I think stories are a way for us to learn about each other and to communicate and to understand each other, because your life story is very different than mine, I'm sure, and your life story is very different than mine. But we all come from these places of what happened to us from the time we were born until where we are now. And our values and our morals and everything are shaped by that. And I think if we understood each other better, I think the world would be a better place because we could communicate. And I think all of us really just want love. And that's the bottom line. And I think that if we understand where that desire, that need for love is coming from, I think I think it'd be great.
I agree. That's beautiful. That definitely resonates with me. And what does life look like for you right now? Yeah,
Wow.
you've come through so much.
I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a
are you drinking moonshine?
no, I'm not drinking moonshine. Definitely not. That stuff smells like fuel. Have you ever actually
I
smelled
had it
that stuff?
once. It's
Oh,
it's a lot.
it is like, yeah, 90 proof or something, right? Like,
Yeah, but can you imagine drinking that? What that does to your mind? I mean, it probably erases all the fear,
all of the,
right? And maybe even depletes all the love too.
yeah.
But okay, so let's get right back to it. What does life look for like for you right now?
Right now, okay, so it's a little chaotic, which is crazy,
Okay.
because I went through this time period where I'm a very introverted person. I think most authors are. So my daily routine is I sit around and I'm kind of moody, and I kind of write my books and I do my thing and I sip my matcha, and I'm kind of like, don't have to talk to anybody. And suddenly I wrote this book, and I'm on podcast, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm having to do these author meet and greets, which is a little bit out of my element, and does create some anxiety, I'm admitting now. But I found that if I just work through it and if I go, okay, I'm just going to be myself, and that's all I can really be, then that's the best I can do. And I have met some really wonderful people along the way, who stories of my dad, or just people that come up and go, I'm so glad you wrote this book. I remember back in 19, whatever, when this was happening. It was very nostalgic to me. So it is chaotic right now, but I'm kind of liking it.
That's great.
I thought I was going to be like in bookstores doing signing. I envisioned when this all started, like, oh, I'm going to be at Barnes and Noble and, have my table set up. And that's not what's happening. What's happening is I'm getting a lot of people from car shows that want me to come with my book and show up to these car shows, which is a pretty interesting niche, I think.
Yeah,
But it fits with the book. So there's some car shows coming up, and some other author opportunities. There also may be some talks. I've heard that the book may be a good film. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that one. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes.
Incredible.
Well, we'll definitely want to know when the time is right to
Yeah,
share with us and our community
I
and
will.
our listeners. Okay, so you're showing up online. Tell us a little bit about how all of our viewers and listeners can find you. Where are you showing up on social media?
So social media is very new to me. So it's been a lot of fun. I am on Instagram right now on Gena Elliott underscore. I also have an author website, genaelliott.com, where you can purchase the book, find out a little more about me, subscribe to a newsletter. There's even some fun like t-shirts and shot glasses and things, hats and trucker hats and those kind of cool Southern stuff on there. Yeah, I'm on Facebook as well. So that's where you can find me.
Serena, she has merch.
I have merch.
Yes, I love it. And it's all so inspired. I really am feeling your Southern vibes, your heart, your grit, and so much of what you're sharing about your childhood is really showing up and bringing it to the masses is incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I'm very excited for you. I can't wait to have you back on and talk about the other books.
Yay.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
definitely. Well,
So more from us, more from you. Thank you, Gena Elliott, for joining us on Two Shots of Espresso.
Thank you both so much. I'm grateful.